Konnichiwa! Welcome to Pro Wrestling Throwdown for the week of August 8th, 2021. I am Caleb Black. This is Luke, the Big Dog Williams, along with our in-studio producer, the mighty Max Fury. We are here. It is Sunday. Luke, how was your Sunday?
So far, so good. It's wrestling day.
Wrestling day.
We've got some stuff to touch on, some serious stuff.
Some peepees? No, we're not going to be touching peepees. It's just
serious stuff to touch on today. We'll get a lot of the news and stuff that we have out of the way, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of everything.
That's not what I want to do. Just trying to see. Whatever.
That'll work. It'll pop up there.
All right, that's all I need to know. Max, how was your Sunday?
I'm doing good so far. We got news to talk about. We
do.
Birthdays. We got bullshit. We got some sad stuff. We got some happy stuff. We're gonna laugh. We're gonna cry.
It's gonna be a roller coaster of emotions.
Hold on. No, you misstepped there. We're gonna laugh. They're gonna cry.
And that's just for watching us. All right. Well, where to start? I guess the biggest news this week: another round of NXT 205 Live releases. Some of the names on this list are not surprising, and there are 3 on the list that are exceptionally surprising to me. Should I just rattle off the list? And
let's rattle off.
Do we want to break them down like as we go?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it that way. Give us thought.
I'll tell you what. Let's start with the ones that aren't the big ones.
Sure.
That way, when we get into the bigger ones, we've got some conversational time.
Sure. I'm down.
So Jake Atlas.
Yes.
Which that one, while not surprising, he was talented. He was charismatic. Yes. He was hyper athletic.
Yes.
I think that's a loss.
Was big on the gay lesbian community.
Yeah.
As being very open.
Big member of the LGBT.
Just actually took a picture on his Twitter about a week and a half ago with his first WWE action figure with the caption, "Many more to come."
Nope.
Don't think so. Could be wrong.
Hey, but check it out. Now it's a collector's item.
True.
That's the only one you're ever going to get.
Well, at least he got one.
Jake Atlas. Ari Sterling. Now, I'm not going to lie. This is a 205 Live name that I'm completely unfamiliar with.
I don't remember him being a big fixture. He's more of one of those developmental earlier talents.
The same with the next one, Kona Reeves. However,
Kona Reeves, the story behind Kona Reeves is that Kona Reeves was a part of the original NXT brand when it became what it is now. He got hurt. Really like a serious neck injury, I'm pretty sure. Maybe it was his back. I'm not sure on the details. But has been on the injured reserve for 3 years now.
Well,
they teased him, if you remember right, when Sami Callihan came in.
Yeah.
They teased him then, and he wasn't ready to come back.
Solomon Crow.
So, while unfortunate, because he is a really good worker, if you can find any of his indie stuff, he's great.
Yeah.
His early NXT stuff was great. It's a shame that he was released before actually being able to show all of the potential that he had.
Yeah.
Dude had a body. Dude had a mind for the business. Yeah. It's a shame. But again, you've been on the injury reserve for 3 years.
Right. I mean, if you're on the list and you're not working, what are we paying you for? Leon Ruff.
Leon Ruff surprises and doesn't surprise me.
Well, I'll tell you what I think. I think Leon Ruff's hiring was, and this is just rumor and innuendo, and
for sure,
mostly comprised of personal opinion. But Leon Ruff's hiring was just to quickly gloss over the fact that they released Leo Rush.
Right.
And that's
also the name kind of
Leon Ruff, Leo Rush. They're similar aesthetically.
Yes.
Similar heights. Obviously the same race. Not to disparage Leon Ruff.
No,
at all. But that's what I thought about that hiring this entire time.
Well, and here's the thing: unlike Kona Reeves, or most of the releases here, in the NXT brand,
I'm gonna let you vamp.
Go ahead. He did hold the NXT North American Championship, which not a lot of men have held.
They've not. That's true.
Which does nothing but boost his pay on the Indies or his bargaining chip anywhere else.
Yes. He can officially put on his resume he's a former NXT North American.
So, I mean, while it sucks that, of course, now he's out of a job, still he has that drawing power to where he can at least draw something on the Indies and make a respectable living for himself.
Stephen Smith?
Stephen Smith. Is that the referee?
I'm not sure. Like I said, some of these names, I don't. The only three there are 5 names on the list I actually recognize. The rest of them are 205 Live talent, and I don't spend a lot of time watching.
I believe that's a typo. I believe that name is supposed to be Stephanie Smith.
Oh, okay, Stephanie.
That is the Leon Ruff's girlfriend. She was a NXT official.
Gotcha.
Which is a shame because one, she was good.
Yeah.
She was a good referee. That's what we need in this business. Is a lot of people who know what they're doing.
We need more good refs.
Unfortunately, you drop the hammer.
Payday.
Sometimes both sides.
Payday comes early, kids.
Both sides feel the heat.
Tyler Rust.
Tyler Rust was an independent guy from California. Made a big.
Wait a second. We know someone who knows him, right?
Jennifer.
Okay, yes, that's the guy that Jen knows. Gotcha.
Yeah, he was released due to like they said, budget cuts and whatnot. He wasn't used very often. He was used in the NXT brand UK brand a couple times. But I mean, that's a shame. But again, he's a SoCal guy. He's got
if he's a SoCal guy, there's a place he can go.
Yeah,
they'll hire him.
Yeah,
they hire all the SoCal guys there.
They sure do,
except for one. Zechariah Smith. I believe he's an NXT UK talent, isn't he?
He was a UK talent. I don't know a whole lot about him because I'm not very experienced in his in-ring work.
Yeah. Asher Hale.
Asher Hale was a 205 Live guy.
Yeah.
Lots of tattoos, had a really good look. Needed a little bit more fine-tuning on the edges. I know this is coming from a guy who doesn't work in the business anymore, but as far as I'm concerned, watching him work, he's a little rough around the edges. He needed a little bit more fine-tuning.
Is he Leon Ruff around the edges?
I can't do that anymore with his glasses. But no, which is a shame with the NXT not being able to get their hooks into the guy enough. It's a shame, but unfortunately for him, this isn't.
Depending on where you're in.
This isn't 2002 anymore, so there is other places and other opportunities to go.
That is correct. Giant Zanjeer.
Giant Zanjeer is the top student of the Great Khali.
That's right.
Used in the Super Showdown.
Super Showdown, yeah, whatever is the
Crown Jewel.
The Crown Jewel events and the World's Greatest Rumble.
Interesting enough for that, we just inducted Khali into the Hall of Fame, and now they've taken his top prospect, as well as the girl who was his top prospect got cut last cut.
For the last round.
So that kind of makes you wonder. But here's the deal with Sonya Dutt and the Bollywood boys.
And the AWW company coming up.
Right. I mean, again, with that loaded gun, handing it to the competition.
And again, like just to harp on that for a second, it is so weird that the Bollywood boys get cut, Dutt leaves, they cut all of Khali's top prospects while they're doing the India expansion. Where those guys would be their top. I mean, could be their top stars. I don't know what they're doing.
I don't get it.
Not my business. All right, so let's talk about the big three, the surprising ones on this list. I'm going to start with Mercedes Martinez.
Mercedes Martinez is probably, in my opinion, pound for pound, one of the greatest women wrestlers in the business today. And releasing her, it just adds fuel for matches with Thunder Rosa.
Yeah.
Adds with matches with Hikaru Shida.
Britt Baker.
Yeah. Anyone in the NWA, anyone in the Ring of Honor. Impact.
The thing is, though, so I can see why they did it. So if I look at it this way, there are two perspectives to look at it because of Mercedes Martinez.
Yeah.
And Raquel Gonzalez being the NXT Women's Champion.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Both of them are larger women than the normal run of the roster.
Yeah.
Both of them were over 6, close to or over 6 feet. They both had the Latina heritage. They both wrestled a very serious, almost monster style for women.
Right.
So I can understand, for one thing, we've got Raquel Gonzalez, and she's a champion. Do we need the other wrestler who has those attributes? But on the other, yes, absolutely, because then you've got your heel monster and your baby monster.
Well, and not only that, when you look at the Mercedes Martinez body of work, she's been wrestling for over 12 years, something like that. She's been the Shimmer Heavyweight Champion. She's trained half the roster that the WWE has right now.
Yeah.
In the women's division. Losing her, not just in ring. I get it. If you were like, hey, we don't need you in the ring.
Right.
Let's put you in the developmental part.
Right.
And breed
Let's
success.
Make you a coach or something.
Exactly. Why would you cut somebody with a tenure?
Yeah.
They
cut fucking Mickey James, so.
Yeah, I mean, they trash bagged the wrong person's shit, too, but It doesn't make sense to me. She is such an asset behind the scenes.
Agreed.
Where Nia Jax still has a job.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
Well, and speaking of moves that don't make sense, the next one I'm going to talk about is Bobby Fish.
Okay. Here's the deal with Bobby Fish. Bobby Fish was probably in one of the most recognizable factions in NXT
most
history.
recognizable faction in NXT history. They ran the whole show for 2 fucking years straight.
Also, is a hand.
Yeah.
The man
he's got the Shawn Michaels eye,
but his is worse than Michaels' eye. But he's got that again, the tenure.
Yeah.
The way of being able to take. If you don't want him in a regular NXT, send him overseas.
Or talk about a guy that would have been a perfect road agent for all the NXT events.
Right.
Talk about a guy who understands that style and has the Ring of Honor experience, the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla experience, all the places that these guys come from. Bobby Fish could have been the Dean Malenko as far as their road agents go.
Here's what has happened. Bobby Fish, and this is just my opinion, we don't have fact on a lot. My opinion is the injury proneness of being out and his
age definitely didn't
has cut in huge with what we'll get into after the release talk about the NXT thing moving forward. But here's the deal. Bobby Fish, as old as he is, like I said, is still a hand.
Still go!
He's one of those guys that could take those younger
It's not like he's in his 50s, kids. Like, he's just older in the spectrum of professional wrestling.
But he could take those younger talents and be like, your stuff doesn't make sense, and then be able to explain to them this is why it should make sense.
As long as he does it with one eye closed.
As long as he's not looking at more than 2 people at once.
No, in all seriousness, releasing Bobby Fish was a huge, in my opinion, mistake again because of I understand. Okay, I get it. They're trimming the fat all the way around,
right?
Because they're going to rebrand NXT because Raw and SmackDown are going to new formats. I totally understand all of that.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Bobby Fish is a guy that you could have still used with the new way NXT is going to be ran.
Here's the deal. Why didn't they just call him up to the main roster? He's good enough to be on the main roster.
But is he good enough to do that as a singles? And what plans do they have going forward with Roddy and Cole and Riley?
True, but here's the thing with all of that. Roderick Strong now leads that other group, the Diamonds, the Ruff or whatever, which is also funny because that was an ECW.
It's just a combination of it's Imperium and the Undisputed Era combined. That's all it is.
I get Roddy. Okay, I understand what you're doing with Roddy. Here's the deal. Kyle O'Reilly has had some fantastic singles matches. Granted, the singles matches, though, that Kyle O'Reilly has had have been against Finn Balor and Adam Cole. Now, here's the deal. Can O'Reilly go with someone who isn't
Adam Cole or Finn Balor?
You've taken Kyle O'Reilly's pop from the crowd, and you're like, okay, this guy's a star. He hasn't proved that he's a star.
Right. Well,
he's a tag guy. He's always been a tag.
And I've always been one of the. I've always been one of the guys who is not necessarily as hot on O'Reilly, and I know that because remember we talked about how everybody was sold after he wrestled Balor,
right?
But I was like the one guy in the room who was like, I'm not really I don't see what you guys are all seeing right now. So for me, there's still something to be proven there.
Right.
But the last name on the list is a fucking travesty of justice in Bronson Reed.
We just talked about Bronson Reed
last week. Last week we had this conversation, or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, had this conversation about how Bronson Reed is an athletic big man that we need in wrestling.
Yes.
How they missed the buck on Otis. How they finally given us a bio competitor about how it was last week because we talked about his match with Adam Cole.
Yeah.
And gave him such high praise. We're like, man, I can't wait to see now that he's in this. He's going to be in the heavyweight title picture. Blah blah blah. And now he's fucking gone. God,
it makes no sense. It makes absolutely
assholes.
No sense. I don't get it, but then again, I don't think we're meant to get it. I think that again with the
here's the other thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
With NXT doing its rebranding, right? And they're talking about big guys. Bronson Reed's not a little guy.
No, he's not.
He's not 7 feet tall, but it's the way he's built and the way he moves. He could be a great buffer for larger athletes and got just it's such a stupid thing, and he's so charismatic and so good. And again, if you're not going to use him on regular NXT, why not just send him to NXT UK?
Right.
Where he can work that style and work with those guys. Bronson Reed and Walter.
Yeah.
Come on, baby.
Please.
Not no more.
Nope, not going to happen. Unfortunately, the Bronson
never going to
Reed
happen for you.
had everything that it could have took to be a main roster talent, and they've ruined it. They wasted it.
Man. And the other thing that really bothers me is like, well, especially with Bronson Reed, is just last week, he's in a main event match with Adam Cole. Just last week. And they release him 3 days later.
Yeah.
3 days later, during, by the way, this is the fucked up thing what we're talking about. All these releases get announced during SmackDown.
Yeah.
So here's the other thing, and like I understand it from this perspective, right? If you're watching SmackDown, you're probably already on Twitter, you're probably already cued into what's going on in the wrestling business. You're probably already watching what's happening in WWE. So it's a really relatively easy way to engage your audience.
Right.
We'll make these announcements right now. They're already watching SmackDown. They're already following the internet. They're already tuned in. Let's give it to them. Here's the other side of that. Casual wrestling fan, not like us who like sit and soak in every detail. Blah blah blah. Casual wrestling fan. SmackDown's on TV right here.
Right.
John Cena's in the ring talking. He's on his phone. He's on Twitter. Oh shit! John Cena's cutting this amazing promo, but I'm not hearing a fucking word of it. Why? Because fucking Giant Zangier just got released. Holy shit! Let me refresh it and see what people are saying. Oh shit! Mercedes Martinez, now Baron Corbin's in the ring, but I'm not fucking watching that. You took away, you engaged your audience, but took away from what your audience was supposed to be paying attention to.
Right.
You
drew eyes from the product.
Exactly.
And drew them away from the product.
And then even once they re-engage, if you're like me, like when I found out what was going on, because I texted you guys immediately. And the only thing I could think of was like, holy shit, I can't believe they fucking released Bronson Reed. I had to go back and watch parts of SmackDown that I wasn't paying attention to. I almost completely missed the Bianca Belair thing, Bianca Belair main event. Almost completely didn't even watch it because I was busy getting the wrestling news updates. Like, I understand, again, yeah, it's the easiest time to engage your audience, but you...
At the same time, what was the point?
Right.
Like, you want ratings. You want your shows to be viewed by as many sets of eyes as possible.
Right.
And yet, like you said, America, wrestling fans all around the world, really.
Yeah.
We're all
glued into what was going on in the phone.
We're like, what? Ding, ding, ding. What happened? What?
It was like HBO was running, a documentary that on some serial killer that everybody wanted to watch at the same time on your app. They were, doing a Game of Thrones premiere or something.
Right.
Like you competed against yourself with your own content.
You were basically giving your own show spoilers to where people didn't have to watch.
Daenerys Targaryen.
Didn't have to watch, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you competed against yourself.
Yeah.
For
you lost on both sides.
But did you though? Because you're still getting the Twitter engagement and they're still getting the ratings from watching the TV. So did they really lose or did they win on engagement?
Well, they won on engagement, but they lost.
But they lost retention.
Yeah.
Or it's
not to mention they lost 6 members of a roster.
Well, and then like the vice versa is what if you see the news updates? I'm gonna watch SmackDown, and I'll get to that later. SmackDown ends. I'm not fucking thinking about that. I just watched that Roman Reigns shit. Now that's all I'm thinking about. So I didn't engage them on the social media stuff, so now I've got no fucking clue what's going on.
Right.
Instead of just using that template, let your fans watch what's going on, because when you get up the next day, first thing we do is check for new wrestling news every single day, as soon as I wake up. That's why we're texting each other at fucking 9 a.m. sometimes. As soon as something drops.
3, 4 a.m.
Right.
But
as soon as something drops, one of us knows something.
Yes.
But so why not just engage your fans the next day? Give them the ability to retain the product in front of them, and then let the next day be the day of conversation when we're talking about releases. Because now everything that happened on SmackDown gets lost. The releases get lost when you gloss over back. It's just very...
Well, and here's the deal. Most of the time when it comes to media and to the releases and such like that, we don't go through the WWE to get that information.
No.
We have the information through other places and stuff. So really, most of the people who saw the news on those releases weren't seeing it on a WWE-owned media source.
Right.
So you've lost out there, too, because you're drawing attention to the dirt magazines.
Right.
And the online presence that's drawing it all away from even your YouTube or your WWE.com,
Yeah.
or any of that. You're drawing away from that too.
Well, think about it too. Talking Smack's a whole talk show segment that follows. Are they really just going to sit and talk about SmackDown instead of addressing, the news in the
That's
WWE
where you
universe?
do it. That's where you do it.
And that would be perfect. Thank you. We just watched SmackDown. It's an hour-long program. First half hour, we're recapping SmackDown. Second half hour, breaking news. NXT just filed a series of releases. And I understand too, like it's not a
Put
real
your ticker across
news
the bottom
program.
of the screen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Something. Other than that, how they did it was way wrong. How you people who are watching at home, I blame all of you. You people.
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
I was talking about them.
Yeah, them people. Those people.
Oh,
those people.
The ones watching. Okay.
That one guy there with the Cheetos and the beanbag.
Yeah, we see you.
Put your pants on. Wash your hands.
Apparently, I'm not the only cat on the block who likes Cheetos.
Let's get into another bit of the news while staying on NXT topic. How about the rebranding of NXT?
Yeah, and coarsely put, first of all, by Triple H. Bigger production, less high-flying and acrobatic wrestlers, and no more midgets. Like, that's how we're referring to our roster? Shitty. Look, I get what he's saying. Like, I don't take it personally. But still, you couldn't have just said, look, we're going away from the high acrobatic style of professional wrestling and implementing larger grappling athletes or larger athletes who bring more to the table athletically in the forms of wrestling, boxing, combat sports. Instead, he says, no more high flyers and no more midgets. You prick!
Yeah, that's a little much even for me.
People can't be combat wrestlers?
Right, well, not in the WWE. They give them a shillelagh and pay them jack shit.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it.
So, and again, this is what we were just talking about off air. So the WWE wants to rebrand NXT and turn it genuinely back into a developmental system.
Right.
Whereas it's still going to run on USA Network. It's still going to be televised, but they're going to kind of do the old school. We talked about this last week too, ironically. The old school talent scouting method.
Yeah.
Where they're going to hunt for legitimate athletes, larger individuals, guys who have fit the original WWE aesthetic.
Right.
But it's the counter to AEW's high profile or high independent wrestling profile style of booking. Think about it. NXT, even just as their developmental show, still has to compete with AEW Dark and AEW Dark Elevation. Let's consider Dynamite their Raw and Rampage their SmackDown for all intents and purposes at the moment. NXT's got to compete with that, and what do you see being highlighted on Dark and Elevation? It's a lot of highly athletic, highly flippy, highly acrobatic wrestlers.
Right.
So if I'm watching my competition, what are they missing? Well, they're missing a 6'6" guy who can throw a mean fucking clothesline.
Yes.
All right, now I'm going to find one of them. All right, they got a guy who throws some pretty serious drop kicks. Can we find a guy who does a nice drop kick, but he's a little taller, got a bit of a tan, looks a little bit more like an athlete? All right, I'm going to find that guy. They're counter-programming to their competition, which isn't the worst way to go about things.
Right.
No, not Randy Orton. Shut up.
Yeah, the idea of the no midgets bothers me.
Yeah, just the way he said it.
Because here's the deal.
And
wrestling isn't a big man sport anymore.
No,
it's not.
It's an everyman
sport.
Well,
shouldn't be. But here's my thing. It goes back. It shows you right there that while Triple H has been running this developmental thing, and he has been booking these world-class athletes from independent wrestling from all over the world, that he still hasn't changed his way of thinking.
No.
And the midget thing bothers me specifically because it reminds me of Kevin Nash when he called Benoit and Eddie Guerrero, two of the absolute best technical wrestlers of their age, vanilla midgets. Like, no, Chris Benoit wasn't 6'6", but I bet you in a fucking catch-as-catch-can shoot wrestling match, the former 3-time NCAA world champion, Chris Benoit, would have fucking bent Kevin Nash into a fucking pretzel.
Oh, yeah, he's a killer.
Can you imagine Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle?
I mean, they did that a lot.
But, Kurt, later on in Kurt's prime, later on.
Yeah.
was a horribly timed joke. I'm sorry.
We at Pro Wrestling Throwdown. We're gonna have to put up a
Sunday.
trigger warning right now. That was just a joke.
It's Sunday. Give me a break.
Oh my gosh.
But no. It took a while, but but yeah.
Horrible. All right, let's
The weekend.
back to what we were saying. Yeah. However, I am interested if they're going to change the production, and they're going to book a more traditionally WWE style. Obviously, they can't go back to the days of Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior.
No,
they can't go back to the days of it's just going to be bodybuilders and body guys.
Well, here's the deal: in professional wrestling, when the term midget was whatever it was
used for guys like
Shawn Michaels would have fit that bill.
Yeah. It was Terry,
I mean, not the vanilla part, but
Terry Taylor and Shawn Michaels. And not to go back to that, but Malachi Black just gave an interview with Jericho where he talked about that. He was like, it's so funny to me, listening to Michaels and Terry Taylor, who are my coaches at the WWE, talk about how when they were coming up in the business, it was just guys from the 70s and 80s telling them, oh, you guys aren't wrestlers, you're just guys who do moves.
Right.
And that's Shawn Michaels. The Heartbreak Kid.
Sure, yeah.
Heartbreak Kid. Shawn Michaels is having to, dispel that information. So again, but it just goes to show that it hasn't changed. It's
it hasn't.
Still the same argument, still the same descriptor, and it's awful.
And we can't move forward in this business.
No.
Until stuff like that is eradicated.
And it's like you said too. No. It's not a big man sport anymore.
No.
It's really not. It's been, and I've been critical. I mean, I'm only 6'1", but on the indies, when I was wrestling, I was a big guy.
Yeah.
Or I'm 6'2", but I was a big guy compared to the guys I'm wrestling who were 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah.
So I understand that to a degree. But again, it's not like, how many guys are 6'6" on the end? Jake Durden's not even taller than 6'2", 6'3".
No.
But he's one of the biggest guys in the Madman Fulton. Same deal.
Well, and here's the deal: you do these cuts and everything, and you talk about I'm not saying the word anymore about the shorter athletes in wrestling because I'm not going to dignify that. You look at the Great Khali's protege. That man was almost 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
So you're saying, well, we're going to get rid of this athlete who is of the height and of the size that we want, and then throw all of that shade on the smaller, younger guys by saying we need bigger and taller people. You just got rid of somebody who fit your bill, who fit what you were looking for, and you released him anyway.
Yeah.
Like that, Kona Reeves.
Yeah.
Same thing, man. Was
Mercedes
like 6'4".
Martinez.
She was what, 6'3"?
She was 6'1", 6'2" for a women's wrestler.
Braun Strowman,
who was a guy that the WWE.
It's exactly.
If they'd have had Braun Strowman in 1992, Hulk Hogan, you would have never heard Hulk Hogan's name again.
That would have been
ever.
He'd been huge.
Incredible.
Yeah, he would have been over like gangbusters.
But oh my God, they hired Braun Strowman back to work on NXT.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Braun Strowman, Macho.
Just weird. What a weird thing to say and a weird thing to do. But I am interested in what the rebrand's going to look like, what kind of talent they're going to book for it, and going forward, how they're going to utilize NXT.
Here's the deal with NXT. NXT became watchable television because it was something different.
Yeah.
Now you're wanting to go back to knock it back down to
but again,
the first floor again.
But again, if you watch an episode of Dynamite, back when they were both on Wednesdays, what was so different about both programs? Other than the guys that were on.
You mean the difference between the two programs?
Right,
the difference between those programs and the main roster?
But between NXT and AEW specifically.
AEW, well, I mean, there was a lot of similarities between the two.
Right, but that's my point. That's what I believe their perspective is. Let's create a brand entirely different from the competition.
Yeah, but here's the deal. When you do that, you're admitting that they're competition. Well, all they say is that they're not.
Yeah, those words are never going to come out of Vince's mouth.
But you see what I'm saying?
At least not until August 22nd at around 8:45.
Oh, you mean when it's clobbering time?
Yeah, it's clobbering time.
Because legit, mark my word when I say this, it will indeed be clobbering time when that takes place.
When two other smaller
ratings money-wise.
When 2 other smaller mega stars of professional wrestling re-debut.
Yeah, let's bring in those other 2 M words.
Yeah.
And see how they don't sell tickets.
I got an M word for you. Fucking Mo-Ron.
I got an M word for you. Money.
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 But, so we've covered the releases.
We have.
We've covered the direction of NXT. I think it's time to switch gears.
Yep.
And go to one of our favorite segments here on Pro Wrestling
I
Throwdown,
agree.
which is
time for birthdays.
Bullshit.
Max,
Birthday.
take it away. While you guys do that, I'm going to go refill my water jug. I'll be right back.
All right. First thing, right off the handle before I actually get into the birthdays, last week we were remiss to acknowledge the passing of the great bass player for ZZ Top, Mr. Dusty Hill.
Yes. Yeah, it's a shame. The man musically is probably one of the most recognizable bands in my lifetime. ZZ Top was hit after hit after hit. Is one of the most recognizable people in rock music, in that genre of rock music. It's a shame that we lost him, but his music will live on well past when we're gone. So
Influenced so many great bands, like perhaps like the Foo Fighters, who we may or may not have gone to see at a certain place in time that maybe possibly a couple days ago.
That killed it.
Oh,
always.
If you've never seen the Foo Fighters live, that was an incredible experience.
Sorry about that, fellas.
Amongst
Welcome back.
19,000 people. It was
All right.
Fantastic concert.
So yes, Dusty Hill.
You guys talking about
Dusty
your
Hill, a legend will be remembered forever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot he passed away. Yeah. There's a wrestling connection to him.
Is there?
Yeah, there is.
Hold on, let me think here. I just
think I
read
know
this story.
Vaguely where you're
Well,
going.
the easiest.
Well, he was a wrestling fan first and foremost.
Well, the easiest connection to all that is that ZZ Top did their version of Legs for Stacy Keibler's entrance.
That's one. No, there's something else. Him and Cornette were pen pals.
Well, he's also
or exchanged birthday cards or Christmas cards.
He was also one of them stars that you always seen in the crowd.
Yeah, he went to Smoky Mountain all the time. I remember that specifically. Anyway, what birthdays did I miss?
You didn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great.
All right. We want to make sure we got mentioned him.
Rest in power, Dusty.
Yes.
Let's see. Today we have birthdays.
It's going to be the day we're going to throw it back to you.
Renee, Marquette, Lesnar, Marrow. I don't know what she's been married so many times. I can't keep track anymore. It's better known as Sable.
Sable's birthday.
Sable's 53.
56. 54 years young.
Nice. Happy birthday. And her
gorgeous.
And her McGeggity Babas are only 25.
Sharing her birthday today. Shayna Baszler.
Shayna Baszler's 38. No, she's in her 40s. She's
42.
43.
41 today.
Damn. 41.
Wow.
All right. Happy birthday, Shayna.
I think she only has
you are such a badass. I know you're watching this right now, and just to bask in our glory, but you're fantastic, and I love you.
Just somebody needs to give her makeup tips.
You want to tell her that?
Somebody needs to give you makeup tips. You can't prove she ain't watching
the shit out of you.
Zach Gibson?
Yes.
Turns 31 today.
I don't know who that is, but happy birthday, Zach Gibson.
I'm not sure either.
Zach Gibson was a member of the tag team with Ospreay.
No, that was Zack Sabre.
I'm sorry. No. He was a NXT UK guy, Zach Gibson.
Oh, yes.
Well, happy birthday to you.
See, birthdays through the week. Tomorrow. Silas Young will turn 42 tomorrow.
Silas Young. Happy birthday.
The real man's man, Silas.
That's right.
Beautiful Alexa Bliss will celebrate birthday tomorrow.
Carriage House.
Alexa Bliss is 26?
29.
30. She will be 30.
Wow.
Technically, she is 29. So, because her birthday's not until tomorrow. So,
Carriage
House. You're saying there's a chance.
Carriage House.
First
off, all those people on Twitter, go fuck yourselves. And Alexa, I will come to bat for you at
Leave
any
Alexa
time.
Bliss alone.
That's right.
Leave her alone.
You got your back.
Serious. Shit.
On
We're getting canceled.
Monday,
We
or
already canceled
Tuesday
this,
rather,
oh,
on the 10th, Tugboat, Mr. Typhoon.
Yes.
Typhoon.
The Shockmaster.
Will turn
Oh God.
Oh God, 62.
63?
65.
65.
Wow. Fred is his real name.
You
Yes.
just go through the fucking wall.
Savio Vega.
Savio Vega is
67.
I was going to say 68. But
57.
Oh wow, he's younger. than
wow.
He
Okay.
also still competes on MLW.
He would be
Nice.
57.
Matter of fact, in the Battle Riot the last weekend, he not only wrestled as Savio Vega, he was eliminated and come back at the end of the night dressed as Quang,
Yeah.
the ninja, which is fantastic to me.
Wade Barrett and Congo Kong share his birthday.
Wade Barrett's 42.
Wade Barrett is 41.
41.
Will be 41. And Congo Kong will be 42.
Yeah.
Oh, Congo Kong's 42.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. See, and then on the 11th,
Let's work with him.
The,
He's a cool guy.
Yeah.
not so immortal after all, Hulk Hogan
Oh God, 67?
will turn 68.
68?
Wow.
Yeah.
Right on.
Who was up
And
there?
Bill Alfonso,
Oh God.
Wait a minute. Hogan will turn what?
68.
68.
60 what?
God damn it.
60
I thought I
what?
walked right into that. Brother.
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean? You're fucking on it today. Well done. Those glasses
it's
really help you
Sunday.
sense of
It's
humor.
totally Sunday.
Can't even see
Bill
those jokes coming.
Alfonso will turn 64.
All right, on.
Well, and then on the 12th, Terry Taylor will turn
I was just talking about
67. And on the 13th, Spike Dudley
Ooh.
50.
will turn 51.
I was going to say 53.
And inches, it's almost as tall as he is.
Yes, that's true.
And only half the size of your penis.
What do you think we set the laptop on?
Yep.
What do you mean, you
Getting canceled today, kids. We'd like to thank you for tuning into the last episode of Pro Wrestling Throwdown.
If you'd like to send complaints or comments,
You can send it to
join us
Max
on
at
Facebook.
618. No. All right, Max, what else we got?
All right. Is it for wrestling birthdays? Let's see. On the August 4th, I want to talk about this. Donald Gibb, better known as Ogre.
Ogre! Yeah, Revenge of the
Revenge
Nerds.
of the Nerds. Also, Bloodsport.
Yep.
Yeah.
So many, tons of movies, TV appearances all over the place. Fucking great actor. One of my favorite actors from back when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
You know who else was born on August 4th? My dad.
Well, happy birthday, Mr. T.
Love you, Pop.
Donald Gibb will be
Oh, man. 66?
74.
67.
Wow.
67.
Right on.
The Ogre will be 67. If you've never seen Revenge of the Nerds or
Love Revenge of the
Bloodsport, you got to check them out. They're
Yes.
great. With some great movies from the 80s, but
Everybody
they're
else is worrying
spectacular.
about
Also.
everything else. Nerds are thinking about sex. One of the best quotes ever.
On,
Easy, Max.
let's see.
Camera
On
chef.
the 6th, remember Maureen McCormick? Marsha Brady.
Yes.
The
Yes,
original
yes.
Marsha Brady?
Yes.
Oh, she'd be in her.
I'm not going to dignify that. I'm just going to have him tell me how old she is.
In her 60s.
66.
66. I was going to say 64, so
And
date
doesn't.
her a little younger.
Yeah, you still can't tell.
Marsha.
Marsha. That's all I can say about that. That's all I got to say
Still
about
carrot
that.
juice.
Other news, let's see. You know, Rosario Dawson is up for the next Catwoman.
She's going to be. So, I explained this earlier. The original Batman was a 1930s and 1940s radio drama that was later animated, or later technically, it started out as the Dark Detective or whatever, and then it was later reanimated.
They had the one with the big ears.
Then became the Batman comic books. Rosario Dawson has signed on with Apple to do a series of Apple podcasts that are remaking those Batman audio episodes. That should be the voice of the Catwoman.
Rosario Dawson, if you're not familiar, was in a movie called The Rundown with Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
She was. Therefore, Rosario Dawson's a professional wrestler.
Yes, that's.
I'm fine with it. Motion passed.
Yeah, for sure. She was also fine as shit in Clerks too.
She was also
just saying.
Right.
Brent. Huh?
Grindhouse.
Love Grindhouse.
Chris Hemsworth has a birthday on the 11th.
And Chris Hemsworth is going to be playing Hulk Hogan in the Netflix biopic of Hulk Hogan. Therefore, Chris Hemsworth, professional wrestler.
Yes. There we go. Thor will turn 38 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's still like really young.
He's young, yeah.
Yeah, well, he's the oldest brother, so the rest of them are.
I think Liam's only in his late 20s, maybe early.
Yeah,
early
and
30s.
the middle one that also makes movies, he's like maybe a year or two younger.
Just a bunch of big ass Australian dudes making movies and fighting each other.
On the 10th, the desperado himself, Antonio Banderas, will turn 61.
Wow!
And actually today. Captain Hook, Dustin Hoffman, turns 84 years young.
Wow.
Still making movies.
That's fantastic.
Hook, where's Hook?
We've captured Pan's children, that cocky boy who cut off my hand and fed it to a crocodile. But who killed that crocodile? Who stuffed him? Who turned him into a quiet clock? And who didn't believe I could do it?
Now for
who doubted me?
No, not you.
One of you does not belong. I was so select. Not you, not you, not you. You. He'll fight, he'll fly, he'll crow, and then he'll die. Don't fuck with me on Hook, baby. Hoffman. Love Dustin Hoffman.
How about some useless bullshit?
It's definitely Kmart.
You want some useless bullshit?
That was a Rain Man.
I'm always. Always.
It's August now. It's really hot. You know what I'd like? A popsicle. Do you know that popsicles were invented by accident by a 12-year-old boy who left his stuff outside on accident and it froze? And
really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was some kind of like soda.
I did not know that, actually.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
You know what popsicles are really good for?
Good.
Did you know that?
Hold on. Okay. You know what popsicles are really good for? Quenching your thirst. God damn it. Quenching your thirst. Never mind. We'll have to do this segue later.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, go.
You know what popsicles are really good for?
What's that, Caleb?
Quenching your thirst.
Really?
You know what a really good time to quench your thirst is?
When is that, Caleb?
After you eat something spicy, which is why you guys should tune into my buddy Rob's channel, Beast Meets Heat. Every single week, it's Rob and his cameraman. They do a bunch of these incredible spicy pepper challenges from all over the world. He's super entertaining. The content is really hilarious. Last week, he did a spicy jelly bean challenge against his niece. Was funny. She beat him, and he's 6'6" and 320 pounds. So please do me a favor. If you guys are a fan of our channel, go check out Beast Meets Heat. Show him the same love you guys show us because he's my buddy, and he's really good at what he does. Back to you, Max.
I wondered if you were going to get that out or not.
Well, we got it out.
About time.
Story of my life.
Yeah. Let's see. I got a couple more useless facts. And on June 16th, 1884, the first roller coaster was introduced in America. Might have been the first in the world. I'm not completely certain, but I know it's the first one in America.
And it was made from iron rails from recycled railroad tiles.
I don't know about that.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I forget the name of it. It was featured at the first World Circus of America.
No. It was put up at Coney Island in New York,
which is where the first World Circus of America is.
Okay, was that? Well,
yeah.
Okay. Well,
it was the first national fairgrounds.
That's okay. Yeah, I didn't look into all the details.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was when it was actually introduced.
Yep, so. They did that. They did the first ever Ferris wheel that went above, that was over like 50 feet high, or over 50 yards high, or whatever it was. For the time, it was the tallest Ferris wheel in the world.
You know what's really interesting about this, though, I found interesting, is they did all this. You know why?
No, I don't.
To distract the youngsters from sin.
But we had lots of Ferris wheels in my
the sex and
neighborhood.
the drugs and put it up at Coney Island. That worked out
I'm
real
sorry, but
well.
every time I ever thought about being on a Ferris wheel, nefarious shit took place at the top. I'm just saying.
Were kids in the did kids in the 1800s have like a serious coke problem? Like, how many mainstream drugs did you have in 1884? They put cocaine in the medicine.
hence the
Doctors would just give
problem.
you gasoline, whiskey, and coke and be like, here's it for your ghost demons, for
right?
your blood demons.
My last one here. This is
Tie a rock to them, throw them in the water, see if they float.
This is for you guys. Did you know that it is possible to hum while holding your nose? And see, I did. I tried it too, and I don't know. That's why
he did that just so I do that on camera. That's what this is. He's fucking with me. You're fucking with me, aren't you?
Yeah.
What an asshole!
Two of us are idiots, and the other one's me.
Next time he's gonna go. If your hand's as big as your face, don't do that.
Can't lick your elbow.
These glasses, they're glasses. Don't do that. I'm gonna break them.
All right, guys, that concludes birthdays and bullshit. Now we have to do the sad part of the show.
Yes.
We have to talk about the passing of beautiful Bobby Eaton. For those of you who are unaware or unfamiliar, I'll give you a little bit of backstory as to who he was. Beautiful Bobby Eaton was a professional wrestler who started in the mid-'80s. He went under several names and several auspices throughout his entire career. Was a member of the Midnight Express. Was a member of the
Blue Bloods.
The Blue Bloods. Was a member of not the Fantastics. The Hollywood, no, not the Hollywood Blondes either. The other tag team that he was in. His name is escaping me right now, but either way, because I've been up for over 24 hours. But he was pound for pound probably there's always an argument of who the best real professional wrestler was. And the argument always comes down to three names. It's Ric Flair, Barry Windham, and beautiful Bobby Eaton.
Yeah.
He was timeless as he was giving in the wrestling business, proved the tag team wrestling could main event, pay-per-views, closed circuit events, sold out numerous arenas against numerous other tag teams, was a member of the most influential tag team to me in my life, which was the Midnight Express, their manager, Mr. James E. Cornette.
He also worked a number of tag team partners as he was tag team with Arn Anderson, Coco Beware, Steve Kern, and Lord Steven Regal.
Yep. The Alabama Jam.
The Alabama Jam, okay. He was the inventor and the master of the top rope leg drop. He was the first to do it. He's also the only person, in my opinion, if I was ever in a wrestling ring, would allow to even attempt it.
And never hurt anybody, not one time doing it.
No.
Not once. He was so smooth and so flawless.
He started his career May 1976 at the age of 17 with the NWA. So he was an NWA guy for...
Funny story about that. Bobby Eaton wasn't trained to be a wrestler until he was already in the business.
It was the Hollywood Blondes, too, by the way. It was the original Hollywood.
Thank you. I thought it was.
With Buddy Roberts.
Buddy Roberts, yeah. So the guy that he would put the ring up with for the NWA, before the show would start, the boys would let them get in the ring and work around with each other.
Yeah.
And Dennis Condrey one day was watching them wrestle around and they were imitating what you were doing in wrestling.
Right.
But Dennis Condrey looks over at one of the other guys and he goes, God damn, that kid's actually pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
And they started putting him in opening matches to get their heaters over. And Bobby, didn't get trained to be a pro wrestler until he was already, 3-4 months in the business working televised events, which is crazy.
He was trained by the original Tojo Yamamoto. He retired in 2015. I say retired as in retired. He
was still doing appearances and still doing, physical work.
The crazy part is he died on August 4th.
Yeah.
4 days ago, 10 days shy of his 63rd birthday.
Yeah. 10 days shy of his 63rd birthday and 2 months almost to the day of when his lovely wife passed away.
Yes. His last big time appearance in professional wrestling, he teamed with Kid Cash.
Yep.
To take on Larry Zbyszko and Ricky Morton. Him losing to Ricky Morton was the last match that he wrestled, ending a 30-plus year feud between the Rock and Roll and
Midnights. So a lot of us were fortunate enough to get a chance to work with Bobby and meet Bobby. And when they say he was the nicest guy in the wrestling business, that's no exaggeration. He legitimately was the nicest guy in the wrestling business. And he was just a beer drinking pro wrestler from the 80s who loved being in a locker room with the boys, never big leagued anybody or treated anybody like he was a superstar.
Right.
Would give and give and give as far as information and, letting you ask questions and letting you learn from him, and was so generous in the ring, and was just a really, really good guy and meant a lot to me. Like I said, he's one of the reasons I got into the wrestling business. So, of course, 21 years later, when I finally got a chance to meet him, just what an amazing guy.
Donna passed away on June 26th of this year, just so a little over a month.
A little over a month.
Also, they leave behind 3 children.
Yep.
Dustin, Dylan, and Taryn. Dylan, which is a professional wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
It's always sad when we lose a brother in the professional wrestling business.
It's even worse when you lose one of the grandfathers.
It's even worse when you lose somebody who actually lived, breathed, and bled this business.
Yeah.
And there is no other definition of blood, sweat, and tears of anyone in this business than Bobby.
Yeah.
The man revolutionized tag team wrestling. He revolutionized what it meant to be a heel, but he also revolutionized what it meant to be a man and to be a professional wrestler, not a sports entertainer, a professional wrestler, something that is missed out on this business a lot, that now that he's gone, there's not a lot left.
No,
not a lot really. Of those hands that could work from underneath, that could get that feeling from the crowd, who could
and do
draw
anything
that kind
you
of
ask
emotion.
them to do.
Yeah, draw the kind of emotion that they drew during those tag matches with the Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
Those people, when I'm going to go in and say, I told you earlier before we went on live, the match that I remember the most that sticks out in my mind. Now, don't get me wrong, all the tag matches, they stick out all the time because they're just great. When he got the opportunity to wrestle Ric Flair for the NWA World Championship, the crowd, to say the crowd was electric is an understatement.
Yeah, they wanted to see Bobby.
They wanted Ric Flair's blood. They wanted his blood. They wanted his car. They wanted his woman. And Bobby had them eating out of the palm of his hand because here's the deal. They hated Bobby Eaton. They hated Ric Flair just that much more.
Yeah.
And to see Bobby Eaton take Ric Flair's title was anything anyone wanted in the audience. I'm not sure of the date that took place. I'm sure it's on the network. I believe that the network has put up a
Bobby Eaton tribute.
A Bobby Eaton thing of playlists. So do yourself a favor. If you're a young, aspiring wrestler or just a fan of the business in general, try to search out as much of this man's tenure and his work that you can. You will not be disappointed. I promise you that. Tag team wrestling personified. There arguably not a better tag team than the Midnight Express, but there is definitely, without a doubt, not a nicer, more genuine person than Bobby Eaton.
Yeah. Bill Dundee was Donna Eaton's father.
Yes.
And everybody who's ever been down south has a story about how much of a hard ass and how much of a prick Bill Dundee was at some point in time or another.
Yeah.
I got lucky. I met him when I was 17, got that right out of the fucking way. But anyway, when Donna told him that she was going to marry a wrestler, of course, in the wrestler, there's no fucking way my daughter's going to marry a wrestler because I know how they are. I'll kill that prick. Who is it? And she was like, it's Bobby Eaton. And he stops and he's like, well, if you had to marry one,
it should be
married
Bobby,
the right one. So if that's anything, like any indication as to what kind of an amazing person Bobby Eaton was.
They went out like Johnny and June.
Yeah, man.
Donna left and he wanted to follow. That's the ultimate goal for anyone in this life.
I already got choked up about it once, so I'm not going to do that. I don't recommend anybody else do it. What I recommend you do, though, is find a midnight and Rock and Roll Express match to watch sometime tonight. Just pick one. Or my personal favorite, the Midnight Express versus Magnum TA and Mr. Wrestling 2 for the NWA United States Championships, United States Tag Team titles.
I can't recommend more of the Skywalker's match.
Oh, yeah.
Or just anything circa 87 on.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go back further because they're great, but that was during the height.
Yeah. At some point in time today, find yourself a good old-fashioned Midnight Express match and watch it on our recommendation.
Yes.
You won't be sorry for it.
We while we're talking about the career and life and everything, tag team wrestling, yes, but don't be remiss that his television title runs in the NWA were legendary.
Yeah.
The man knew how to elicit that response that he needed.
Yeah.
His matches against Johnny B. Bad, against Arn Anderson, young Steve Austin, William Regal when he was teamed with Regal and then they split.
Bloods, yeah.
Everything is worth watching. This man did not have. Come to think of it, I don't think the man ever had a bad match. Not that I've seen.
No, Bobby Eaton doesn't have bad matches.
But sacrilege. I'm waiting. We haven't got any word yet. I mean, it might be at the filming of this. I'm waiting to see what Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson have to say.
Or Dennis Conry.
It would be like losing your brother.
Yeah.
Which anyone who's ever lost somebody like that would understand what I mean by that. You travel the roads together, you hit the cities together, you keep each other out. You are your brother's keeper. I'm very interested in seeing what they have to say. Also, I don't do this very often. He's usually the shill guy, but go and check out the latest episode of the Jim Cornette podcast.
Yeah, the Jim Cornette Experience. A lot of you guys probably, I mean, I know you guys all have opinions on Jim or whatever because of his railing and his politics and blah, blah, blah. But it's worth a listen. It gives a really, really human element to Jim, and he talks at great length about just how important he was, how important Bobby was to him, and how important Bobby was to the business.
There was a song written, we can't play it here, or I would just play it here. But it's a very touching tribute to a man who revolutionized not only tag team wrestling, but revolutionized what it meant to actually be a worker in this business.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's not a lot of the real good guys left.
And we just lost one of them.
We lost probably one of the best ones.
If not the best.
Catches independent stuff. I can't express enough to watch this man's work because...
Yes. Or if you happen to go to an indie wrestling show, everybody has a Bobby Eaton story. Somehow, some way down the line.
Yeah.
Ask him about it, because I'm pretty sure they're going to tell you he was the nicest fucking guy they ever met, that he drank beer with them, that he hung out with them, that he gave them great advice, or that he fucking ribbed them because Bobby was a ribbon fool.
Or he just wanted to talk wrestling.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, too. He was a guy, like I said, legit. He was at home in a wrestling locker room around the boys. And we'll drink a beer for you this weekend, Bobby.
Yeah, wrestling world is truly missing a really good guy, a really good mentor, and the stories won't stop. They never will.
No.
There'll always be footage. There'll always be the midnight and the rock and roll for me. I know for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, go and check out the latest episode of the Jim Cornette podcast. You will see a different side
of Jim.
Sure. It's not the normal.
I made a mistake and listened to it last night while I was at work. Don't do that, because you don't want to work in a factory and be bawling while you're trying to load 300-pound tires into a press.
It's.
I'm so sorry, Jim.
It's touching. It's moving. It is sad.
Yeah,
you get to see,
but it's a good sad. It's a good hurt.
You get to see the side of somebody who has lost a friend and wanted to pay tribute in the best way possible, and they did that over there.
Yeah.
So actually, when you're done watching this, go there.
Yeah, go do that right now.
Leave a like, leave a comment.
Yeah.
For it, leave a like and comment here. Tell us your favorite Bobby Eaton match. If you have a memory, anything like that, please feel free to drop it in the comments, or you can reach us at facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Throwdown.
Or on Twitter at Pro Wrestling TD, or send us an email at prowrestlingthrowdown@gmail.com.
We'd be more than happy to engage in conversation.
Absolutely. I'll talk Bobby Eaton all day.
Be sure to tell the people out there that you love them.
Yep.
Because tomorrow isn't guaranteed.
Nope.
So if you have something you need to say it today. It's not worth holding on to because obviously you don't know from day to day.
I love you, boys.
I love you. I love you, Maximus. The professional wrestling world is a little less bright today. And that's pretty much all I can really say on it. To the family, condolences. To the fans, condolences. Never stop the midnight,
That's
rock
right.
and roll. Because that it's what we thrive for in this
That's
business.
Right. Guys, that's going to wrap us up today here at Pro Wrestling Throwdown. Thank you so much for joining us this week. Be sure to join us next week. Don't forget, as SummerSlam inches ever closer, the contest is heating up for points. We're going to do a full tally that day. That day is going to be a whole event. We're going to do a game. We're going to do the full point tally. We're going to put some stuff on the line. So be sure to check us out for that.
Also, be sure to check out
Beast Meets Heat.
Beast Meets
over
Heat
on YouTube here.
The loser has to be in a jump contest with Dave Grohl. I have
so
arranged
down
that
for that.
whole thing.
No,
I
you had
arranged
Dave
it.
Grohl's phone number, and he's not.
And I don't already have it.
And
We've
he's
got a
not
problem.
hanging out at my house right now with us.
I got a picture of Dave Grohl. You just
Go to the gentleman's YouTube page.
Yeah.
Leave a comment. Let him know we sent you.
Yeah, let him know that Caleb and Luke from Pro Wrestling Throwdown sent you over to check out his channel.
yeah.
He'll get a
Max
kick
didn't
out of
do
that.
shit.
Max is working on Dave Grohl, so.
That's right. We've only got so many hats to wear.
Also,
Yeah,
if you don't have this
Dave
drum
Grohl.
contest put together, you fired.
That's right. Find a new invisible producer. All right, guys. Make sure to find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Throwdown. Follow us on Twitter at Pro Wrestling TD. Send us an email at prowrestlingthrowdown@gmail.com. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave us a comment down below. And as always, from us to you, keep it in the ring.
Well, let's do the Foo Fighters.
All of the Foo Fighters.
This is
All of
Foo
it.
Fighters.
Not just one song, all the songs.
Jesus. I've got another at the mill.
I don't think he actually has Dave Grohl stuff.
I don't believe he does. I think he's
You should be dancing.